you everyone for joining us for another episode of Coffee Table Conversation. As India and the world battles in this unique, or I may call a catch-22 situation on what is priority, a calibrated opening of the economy or protecting life. This is a tough job for anyone at the helm. As the COVID cases are increasing on day-by-day basis, the plateau seems to be far away from what is being predicted. However, the economy is in the state of shock, and the gush of liquidity is making us believe that the world is fine. With the experts warning that this may be a depression worse than 1939, this will eventually lead to how we as individuals weather the storm. Expecting the government to bail us will be an over-optimism. Hence, my firm belief is that this will boil down to one individual skill, our mindset. How we manage it, control it, keep it calm and agile would be of utmost importance. This would also require us to give meaning to our lives. Viktor Frankl, in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, avers that there are three major actions that a man should do. First, find a meaning or purpose for your existence. Second, love selflessly. And third, learn from pain or find meaning in suffering. He quotes in his book, "Everything can be taken from man, but one thing, the last of humans' freedom, which is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances or to choose one's own way." To discuss this important topic on important human virtues needed in order to succeed in the next 3 decades for a stress-free and happy living is Shri Arun Sehgal, Chairman and Chief Mentor of the Chempro Group. He is a first-gen entrepreneur and an expert in the area of international marketing, sales, and EXIM. He's a visiting faculty at Jamnal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies, SP Gen, and WTC. He's a coach and mentor, and for many family businesses and startup, he advises them on their path for foreign expansion. Sir is also an avid reader, and in my view, a thinker, a motivator. Many of us have had the privilege to learn from him and learn and gain a lot of experiences from him. Thank you so much, sir, for joining this evening and agreeing for sharing your thoughts with us. I hand over the floor to you, sir.
Thank you, Neil, for all that kind introduction. I thought it was just an informal chit-chat, and really, it's always good to hear so many nice things about you. But frankly, the journey is more that of a student for me. I'm a learner. I share some of the insights that I've had through my experiences. And first of all, my apologies for coming in late today. I know that I was about 7 minutes late. I just had to wind up a startup session which I was conducting for one of the Atal incubation centers, because I really love spending time with all these young minds, and that's something that keeps me away from all the negative news, etc., which is so much happening around the world today. So I have made a conscious effort to keep myself busy and engaged with young minds like you. And that is what it keeps me going. You can't change things at the end of the day. There are things you can change, try and change them. There are things you cannot change, you have to accept. And then you have to have the wisdom to know the difference between the two. So I know I can't change Corona. I can't change what's happening to the businesses outside. I can't change how many people are dying. I can't change all of that. But what I can change is how many people I can make a positive difference on a daily basis, and how can I give back other than, of course, running my own business. So, of course, one of the things that concerns me is all these spate of suicides that I see that are happening around. Of course, some of them are very highly controversial, and that's not the reason why I'm talking about them. But if you see the data for suicides, and if you see the data of divorces, this is really on the increase. And why this is happening, on the other side, you see the GDPs are increasing. We've had a continuous record of GDP growth at the global level. Each country has been talking about GDP growth. And, but for the Corona pandemic that has recently struck, that the GDPs are for the first time in the last so many years going to be recording negative growth. But why should, let's say, the divorces and these kind of suicidal deaths and let's say consumption of antidepressants, etc. Why should these be going up in a society that is progressive? I think these are not the signs for a progressive society. The more I deal with my ex-students, etc., I find their life is full of stresses. The professional stresses at the workspace have increased. The insecurities have increased. And, the more I talk to them, the more I realize that, of course, the environment has changed. So it's becoming very easy for people to now fire people. Why? Because technology has changed. So I don't know, some of you may be able to relate to what I'm saying, because, the employers are coming out with list of pruning down their organization sizes, and then, who are the next people in the list. So that's always the anxiety. You sleep with that thought and you get up with that thought, and, so what is it that we can do really to cope up with this? First of all, do you agree with it? Let's make it interactive. You can unmute yourself. Neil, I hope people can unmute themselves, because
Absolutely,
I like
sir.
to.
Absolutely, sir. Everybody can unmute themselves.
Well, let's make it interactive, because I like to know more from the young minds. What's going on, and then I will. Let's have a discussion, because I will share with you some of the insight. Not that we have not gone through this, not that I don't live with insecurities, not that I don't have stress in my life. It's a lot of stress that I deal with on a day-to-day basis, because of business, because of other things, managing so many people and managing so many relationships in the personal sphere, in the professional sphere, with partners and all that. So there are stresses everywhere. But of course, there is a lot of learning that I've had in how to deal with these stresses, which I can share with you. But I like to know, what I'm saying, does it kind of sound familiar? Is it also happening in your lives?
I encourage people to unmute and speak.
Akanksha says yes. Right. So I think, most of you will agree. Now, I'll tell you, you must have the ability. One of the abilities that requires, you can't today live without visualizing the future. How the future is going to be, you should have a great ability to visualize it. So look at what's happening around the world. You have Mr. Trump on the other side, then you have a great China, and you have UK, and you have Europe, and you have our own Prime Minister Modi, right? You have Russia, Mr. Putin. Now, what is happening in the countries? If you see now today, one very significant thing that is happening is that every country is looking at Atmanirbhar. People want to become Atmanirbhar. So that, when some of you were in my classes of international marketing, and we were talking about how to penetrate into different markets, etc., the models earlier were free movement of goods. People can buy, people can sell, people have to give free access to the markets, etc. Today, that model itself has undergone change. You have to today think about creating jobs, right? Now, one ingredient I'll tell you, first imbibe in your personality already, that, as a professional, as a human being, one very basic shift in your thinking is going to help you create. Our goal is to create happy, selfless, happy and stress-free living. Whatever you do as an individual, as a organization, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you have to imbibe, you have to develop the quality of thinking about others first. Okay? Think about, if I'm entering, I want to enter Germany, I want to enter USA. Am I creating employment there? It is not about creating profit, which was the earlier model. And I think in all my classes or in all my interactions, there's one beautiful book I always talk about is Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth, who talks about now genuinely, having good intentions. You want to make money? You have to have genuinely good intentions about giving a great future to your employees, better life to your customers, improving the lives of your consumers, improving the lives of your suppliers, improving the life of your shareholders, improving the lives of society at large, including the environment into your business activities, ensuring that you are not doing any harm to the environment. So you see, you're thinking about everyone else, and at the end, profit is a byproduct. And that is spiritual economics, out of which has come out the triple bottom line principle, which I'm sure that all the management institutions today are teaching. Triple bottom line is what? Thinking about people first, thinking about planet second, and thinking about profit last. Our own ITC is doing a great job on that. So this is one ability that you need to now, if you've always been thinking about I, me, myself, please bring this change in your personal relationships also. All right, in your professional relationships also, and you will see how the universe starts helping you accomplish what you want to accomplish. Because that's one thing I want to share. So in all my businesses, in fact, some of my colleagues are here, I've never actually thought of how much I am going to be making out of this. I've always thought of, am I giving a great future to my employees? And most of my employees, I would say, some of them are there right now, are there with me for a long time. Some of them who are here, right? So that is an emotional connect with people. We did talk about in my classes, so I'm not going to repeat that again here. But the happiness and stress-free living comes from two. We have two lives. One is the professional life, another is the personal life. Our professional life, let's say, is between 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then personal life starts after 6 p.m. to 9 a.m. The fact is that how you are designing the 6 p.m. to 9 a.m. determines your success between 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So what you are supposed to do in both these lives is actually very common, but I'm just going to highlight certain things that you have to do, let's say in the personal lives, which I have been thinking and I have come out with my answer. And if we're talking about happiness, what are the things that are really important for our happiness? It's not money. You do need the basic minimum money. Okay? You do require that critical level of money. Okay? For different individuals, could be different. But other than money, I think the first thing is health. Most of the people today in all age groups are not really looking after their health. Remember, there are some things money cannot buy. Health is one of them. And that creates a lot of stress that comes in your way. I'm sure that there's sometimes you cannot think that your boss wanted you to do certain things on a long hour basis on 4 or 5 days, and then your health gave up, and then you felt miserable. You will always feel very miserable when your health gives up. It's a helplessness that you hate. Okay, so health is the first thing. What are you doing in terms of that? Some time during the day, you have to learn to give to your health. Some habits you need to maybe control, and therefore bring health into the radar. First, I'd say this is the first priority. Going forward, you need robust mental health. You need robust physical health, because it was never ever that kind of requirement ever in the last 5 years that you are going to be seeing in the next 10 years. So how do you take care of your mental health? Is starting the day, your daily routine. Neil asked me, sir, what are some secrets? I don't know, some question which I replied to you already, and you can share later on. I don't know what I told you, but whatever I gave you was my actual routine, right? And this is not what my routine was. If you ask me my routine, I think I have had the most bigda wala routine. Okay, being in international marketing, used to parties, used to eating, drinking, etc., all that. But I'll tell you, there are a lot of insights that have gone in, and a lot of things that I have changed for myself. And this is why, because I am myself seeing that the next 10 years are going to be very different. I need very strong mental health. I need very strong physical health if I have to continue in my job of a pilot for my organization and continue inspiring students, I have to become a role model. So there's a pressure, right? So we therefore have to, सुबह आप उठे, क्या किया, सीधा jump out of the bed, look at your mobile phone, stop doing that. First thing is spend some time with yourself early morning. You know, your first 10 minutes are so important. And I said, Dekho, when I did my engineering, IQ was most important. In fact, I got into Jamnalal Bajaj based on the IQ. But when, let's say in the 90s or so, EQ started becoming important because, you know, personal relationships and how you manage people, etc. So emotional quotient became very, very important. Going forward, it is spiritual quotient also that you have to integrate into your lives. Uske bina, your emotional health also is going to be in deep trouble. You need now spirituality. You need to spend some time in our great old tradition. And no, it's not a joke. Why the whole world is now going to yoga and we are concentrating on how we breathe, etc. The fact is we don't even know how to breathe. So the world is learning. We are not learning. We are not giving importance to those things. सुबह के टाइम जो पहले 10 मिनट है ना भाई, उसको please spend meditation. Okay, listen to some good, very motivating videos or audios. You know, and I'll tell you what I do. कान में Bluetooth से, you are brushing, okay, you are drinking tea. Though that the first half an hour is just for myself. I use my phone, but not for looking at messages, not for looking at emails, but maybe some good. And I tell you, a couple of people I love who inspire me, who give me a different perspective. You know, actually, this business of Baba.com is increasing. Why? Because now spiritual quotient is becoming important. So you have seen suddenly, you know, Isha Yoga. You've seen all that art of living, and you've seen now Gaur Gopal Das and all these guys, and I'm sure I personally love them. Okay, not because I follow them. I love the fact that they give a different perspective, which we normally don't think about. So I'm not a follower and I'm not promoting them. But I have personally, I'm just sharing my experience. You know, you just... relationships ke upar, you just listen to Gaur Gopal Das. The person brings in a different aspect, different perspective, and it's fantastic. Now you start developing those perspectives, you know, and just spend maybe 10 minutes. And I love these 3-minute videos, 4-minute videos. In fact, in between, I had started sending to all my students. I think Neil was also one of them. For a long time, every day, whatever I was listening, I thought it's benefiting me. Let me start sending to all my students. So फिर मैंने सबको भेजा. But then I realized nobody was listening. Nobody. So many guys, I'm just wasting my effort. Let me not do it. But but then some people said, sir, we miss your daily forwards that you used to send. So I have now a group of about maybe 26 odd regular students who demand that. क्योंकि मैंने एकदम से जब रोका, and then I was waiting, is someone missing it? So I had more than, I think, 800 students. Out of this, only 26 students came back and said, sir, we love. तो आप सोचो, सिर्फ 0.5% of the people are actually listening to what I was listening, and these are around 3 minutes. तो मतलब लोगों के पास 3 मिनट भी नहीं है सुनने को. That's how busy that we think that we have become. We are busy doing what? What I'm saying is, if you, let's say, you know, the right softwares are there on your computer, your speed of computer is fast, right? And if your computer hard disk is overloaded, your efficiency drops. We are also like a computer. And if we need to deal with daily stresses, and I'm telling you, stresses are going to be now 10x, not 2x, 3x, 10x. Why? Some of the trends that if you see how the environment is changing, you see the world is changing. We are 7 billion today. By end of the century, we are going to be 11 billion.
Heart attack more.
Hello?
Sorry, I think somebody...
Yeah. So today we have 7 billion people on this planet Earth. End of the century, there are going to be 11 billion people. Out of 7 billion, 2 billion are the children below 15 years. And by the end of the century, any guess, Neil, how many children are going to be there out of 11 billion?
So I think it should be about 2-3 billions at least. We'll start seeing a steeping decline in some years, but still, I think about 2-3 billions at least.
Okay. The fact is, we are in 2020. I'm talking about end of century. 80 और साल बाकी हैं. आज 2 बिलियन हैं बच्चे, तो अगले 80 साल में बढ़ने चाहिए कि कम होने चाहिए या उतना ही रहने चाहिए?
बढ़ने चाहिए.
बढ़ने चाहिए, पर नहीं बढ़ रहे. After 2020, the number of children that are going to be remaining for the rest of the years is 2 billion only. Why? Because intelligent people like you have stopped reproducing. Now, who are reproducing? All the stupid people, all the poverty-stricken areas. So for the next 80 years, you know what is going to happen? There's going to be more and more stupid people reproducing, and more those people growing up, and more those people becoming youth. So by the time it is 2050 plus, okay, it's the poor people now, not necessarily stupid. That's what I'm just joking. But what I'm saying is that intelligent people have stopped reproducing. That is a definite thing. Now, obviously, we hope that the new crop that comes in of good people. So simultaneously, what is happening, if you see, in the technology area, you're talking about artificial intelligence, you're talking about blockchain, you're talking about all the computer. Future is all of technologies. This much you'll agree. Everything is being taken over. Robotics, okay, nanotechnology, biotechnology, right? Now, everyone cannot be a great technologist. I am sure some of you who are there today are affected because of technology, and your jobs are at stake. And I know, I can give you an example of some of my students. And, you know, last, I think 1 month itself, I've had 5 phone calls where students said, sir, I need help. Can I send you my CV, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, okay, what are you doing? Okay, then I'm doing this. And I said, look, now, if you are doing a job of this kind, which was a back office job, okay, which is going to be taken over because, you know, now the computers are doing your job, right? Obviously, you are going to be on the hit list of the companies. So therefore, if technology is going to be changing, now the world is, how many technologies? That means already, you know, they say 80-20 rule. 20% of the people have 80% of the wealth. Maybe that is also less. Actually, they say 2 or 3% of the people have it, maybe 90% of the wealth, even today. Right? Going forward in the future, they're going to be less than 1% of the people. Why? Because the whole wealth creation and the disparity between people is going to be increasing more. You will have people who are wealth creators in very few numbers, and then the rest of it, and therefore the disparity is going to be increasing. So we are looking at a very different society. Now the result of that is a lot of stress, because if you are not going to be a wealth creator, now again I'm coming to my passion areas, which you all know is entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship. If you're not going to think like an entrepreneur, if you're not going to think like an entrepreneur, you are in problem. You are in big problem. You are living with insecurity because any day your access. So iske liye, if you are in the technology field, if you're whatever, try to become the product experts. I'll tell you, product experts will not go anywhere. Try to update your technology bit on a daily basis. But people who are, just let's say business development people, or people who are, they are in for a little bit of insecurity because a lot of the things are going to be taken over by technology. Okay, and there is so much of excellence that is coming up because of the artificial intelligence, etc., and computing, cloud computing, blah blah blah. where products are going to sell also by themselves. A lot of these products are going to sell by themselves. Of course, there is going to be a lot of other products where some sales, this thing is needed. Maybe I don't want to give that impression that, you know, only the products are going to be selling by themselves. There will be products will sell by themselves. Majority of product will need sales effort. So the ability to sell your idea, sell your product, you have to be an excellent salesperson going forward. Okay, if you're a product expert or if you're an excellent salesperson, you are going to do well. You will have relatively less, let's say, insecurity. So it needs health for you to excel at anything, right? Second is relationships. Because we are spending so much time on these screens, we have stopped worrying about our relationship. We stopped looking after our relationships. And relationships, as I said, you know, your 6 p.m. to 9 a.m. decides your performance between 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So your relationships at home, okay, are going to be very, very important. I think I'm mentoring and coaching a lot of startups, and the moment, you know, I see that they get married, etc. You know, when they start the business, normally a lot of them, they are unmarried. शादी हुई, अभी once you are in the startup phase, तो रात को तुम 11 बजे भी घर आ रहे हो, 12 बजे भी घर आ रहे हो. The wife doesn't take that. 2 साल में divorce भी हो जाता है. Now, और जब शादी होने के बाद इनकी performance इतनी गिरती है, because that life that they spend at home becomes so bad that the startup itself goes through the roof. And I see that happening time and again. So it is important, therefore, how you have designed your life between 6 p.m. and 9 a.m. Okay. So relationships, they take time. And when you are with your relations, make sure that, you know, you're spending time for your personal relationships, you're spending time for your friends also. And you have designed your week around taking care of all those relationships. We need everyone. And of course, giving back to society is something that I highly recommend. Week में 4 घंटे devote to give back to society in whichever way. Doing something honorary. It really builds your self-esteem. That makes your emotional health very strong. That makes your mind very strong. You know, you can take on a lot of emotional stress. And that is what is needed. Coming to the robustness of the body, of course, the physical character also has to be very strong, which also I said, after you've taken care of those 10 minutes, 15 minutes or half an hour that you spend building your emotional and learning and, you know, the spiritual quotient, spend at least 1 hour during the day exercising. It's very important right now in Corona times. Exercise minimum 1 hour. Even otherwise, see that this half an hour for mental development and 1 hour for body development, that is something that you are not going to compromise on. And once that is taken care of course, your habits concerning your food, etc., all that. So health and relationships. उसके बाद profession पे आ जाओ. Profession के ऊपर मैं तुमको बता रहा हूँ. So if you're not networking well with people, it's not going to be great professionally for you. Right? So your ability to network has to be excellent. Your leadership skills, very important. Are you a person who can work without a title? I call them titleless leaders. Initiative. कुछ भी नया सोचा किया, आप 4 लोगों को साथ में मिला है, इंस्पायर किया, कुछ अच्छा काम किया, प्रोफेशनली किया, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में किया, सोसाइटी में किया, but accomplishing something, leadership. And if I'm talking about being an entrepreneur, your thought process, your mindset has to be that of an entrepreneur. You know, whatever you are working, wherever you are working, or in the entrepreneur, you're working as part of the organization, then entrepreneurship, because these are the people who will never be axed from any organization. Why? Because they are the wealth creators. So you try and strive to become an entrepreneur. Even for your organization, start thinking, how can I increase business? How can I inject more product life cycle in this particular product or service? And come up with the ideas. Force yourself to become an entrepreneur. And entrepreneurship is not really very difficult. It is just that You have to have the sense of belonging with the organization that you work for and create. And then you will see that you get admired and you get inspired and you get appreciated by your superiors. And once that happens, you become part of the core group. And you will be amazed that you start enjoying life more. Okay. Obviously, that if you are part of an organization which doesn't have great products or services and you think that your competition is better, one realization that will come is that you are working for a wrong organization. That's a great realization. Right? So think like an entrepreneur. You will start enjoying your journey. You'll get security in your stream and people will not be able to axe you easily. Right? Get action orientation. I see a lot of ideapreneurs, not entrepreneurs. So first differentiate, are you the person who's getting idea as the person who's been just talking about ideas for so many years and not done anything? Right? Be action oriented, because it's action that differentiates people, right, from just people with ideas. What you actually enjoy in life is based on your actions in the last, what you're enjoying today is based on your actions in the last maybe 5 years ago. And what actions you are taking today is going to decide your life 5 years down the road. So be very much aware of this. So time is a very critical resource. Don't waste it. As I said, ये 1.5 घंटा तो तुम्हारे को इमोशनल और मेंटल और फिजिकल हेल्थ के लिए देना ही है. Otherwise, next 10 years you won't be able to survive because of the kind of stresses that are going to be coming in. Right? Make yourself robust. But other than that, entrepreneurship, thinking about wealth creation, thinking about keeping track, your ability to scan the environment. Next point has to be amazing. What's happening? How my business is changing in the next 5 years? What impact, what stresses that is going to create in my life if I don't respond today and if I don't plan today? So your ability to visualize your business or whatever job you are doing 5 years down the road, your ability to find out how you can get into that, entrepreneurship mode or those kind of jobs where you become critical to your organization for wealth creation. You're part of the wealth creation team. Try to survive, try to strive and get into that set of people, which is helping the organization. Even if you are in a back office, I tell you, try to get into sales, try to get into product development, get knowledge. These are the hardcore skills, no matter what happens. Even if artificial intelligence comes tomorrow, even if people want to develop algorithms, they will need product experts to develop algorithms. Computers on their own, of course, artificial intelligence, machine learning, that is going to happen, but then it's going to start with people, right? And try to become that person who's helping machine learning, who's helping artificial intelligence, right? So, values and ethics. Gone are the days where you can scheme, you can plan, be a Harshad Mehta or be a Vijay Mallya, and So, as I said, spiritual quotient, as I said, spiritual economics. You genuinely will have to become a very good human being in order to enjoy happiness and stress-free living. Okay, so try thinking about what I'm saying, and it's going to really benefit you. This is my own personal experience, And going forward, it's going to be more important. And in fact, in this book, Spiritual Economics, he talks about, Eric Butterworth, he says, gone are the days that, you can think of using people or using environment or using other species around you. Corona, agar tum dekho, to it is a direct result of using other species. We are getting into the space of other species who have equal right on the planet, right? Well, I've written a lot of articles during this Corona, and if you go onto my website, you'll see the blog. Under the blog, you'll see a lot of articles which I've written, which have been huge reflections on, what's happening around in the environment. So I see what Eric Butterworth has written in practice. ये कोरोना कहीं से आया? कोरोना से पहले जितने भी आए हैं, they have all come from China. Why? Because we are invading the space of other species. And what does these species do? When you're trying to kill them, they'll throw a virus at you. That's the defense mechanism. And some viruses are, our bodies can deal with. Some viruses we can't deal with. So this is what I'm saying, that, start respecting the space that the Almighty God has given to the human race on this planet. And the moment we're trying to invade other people's species, other species are going extinct. It's not that we are going to remain unaffected. In fact, Corona is not a problem. It's human beings that have become a problem. That's why Corona has come. Think about it, right? So going forward, therefore, if you want to create a stress-free and happy living, you have to be a giver, not a taker. Think about how many ways you can give. And I'll tell you, the divine designs they will give you. You don't have to worry about getting. So when your intentions are genuine, that is what is going to happen. Another thing, very critical virtue that you need to have is being communicative. When you're talking about building relationships, when you're talking about ability to network, it doesn't happen without communication. Find your ways, be communicative, right? Be in touch with people. So this is a very important, let's say, virtue going forward, right? Of course, creative listening, be a great listener. These are some of the things that will never go wrong. That is to build relationships, right? Now, coming to your professional lives, I've already said that entrepreneur and entrepreneurial mindset, right? And ability to scan environment. In addition, your ability to disrupt. You want to succeed. If you are not a disruptor, you will get disrupted. It's just a matter of time. Going forward, your ability to disrupt is something that you will have to very carefully develop. So how do you disrupt? What is the process of disruption? I wish there was a course now introduced in the MBA schools on being a disruptor, creating disruption. It is possible. It is possible only when you have innovative thinking. Unfortunately, our education system, and even the best of colleges, do not promote innovative thinking. We are good copycat people. Chinese are doing it, hum log bhi kar lete hain. Americans are doing it, hum log. But how to disrupt? And disruption is possible. There are a lot of companies disrupting. If you see all these Zomato, Swiggy, of course, they are replicas of some other companies who happened outside. If you see any disruption that took place in India has happened already outside. Electric vehicles, if you see, China has been the leader. We keep comparing ourselves with China and India. Actually, there's no comparison. China is an elephant. We are maybe a small wolf in front of that elephant. It's 5 times the size of our economy, 5 to 6 times the size of our economy. And the amount of accomplishments they have, the amount of research they have done, the amount of patents they have, and the kind of defense, their defense spending is 3 times our defense spending. One of my articles actually came recently in Midday, which I had forwarded to some of you. I don't know, if you don't have, you can take from Neil. But burning Chinese goods, all that we should do without China, all that, all our political people, usko jalao, usko jalao. मैंने कहा तुम जलाने जाओगे, आधे से ज़्यादा घर तो तुम्हारा जल जाना है. सबसे पहले तो टीवी जलाओ, फिर माइक्रोवेव जलाओ, फिर फ्रिज को जलाओ. क्या क्या जलाओगे? कंप्यूटर को भी जलाओ, फिर इंटरनेट वाला जो तुम्हारा मॉडेम है जलाओ, उसके बाद शांति. राइट? जलाओ चाइना को. अरे चाइना के साथ compete करना है तो we have to develop our own innovative mindset. So going forward, you have to think like a disruptor. This Corona times, COVID times, one of the biggest things that is happening, which is very good for Indian businesses, where our strength also lied, was that we have started transforming ourselves digitally. Digital has always been Indian strength. But we never thought of transforming our businesses digitally. And now you see that those companies and those individuals also who are transforming themselves digitally, this is in fact another virtue you need to acquire. How you can use the social media for promoting yourself and products. I'm learning, I'm a student. Maybe some of you can teach me, Baba. Yeah, I know you guys are very expert at that. I am really declaring on this platform. If you know people and do you know people who can coach me and mentor me on LinkedIn, on I want reverse mentoring to happen. So please, Neil, help me get the best experts, because for my business also, I want to create meeting rooms on my website, 24 hours. Somebody want to come in for a meeting, I want to create that on my website. We have so many ideas for digital transformation of my business. Now that is a disruption. I'm trying to think like a disruptor for my business. If I'm asking you to do it, I'm also thinking myself. And I'm giving you an example how to be a disruptor. हमारा जो chemical business है, pharmaceutical business है, I'm seeing that all these people now, virtual international trade fairs have started. So I am participating in detailed discussions with some of my colleagues who are here, and I hope they are still there, to try and capture what is it that these guys are doing, and they're charging us 15,000 euros. Can I build that thing on my website itself? So one of the ideas I thought, I'll create a digital meeting room on my website. Somebody who's my potential customer, he enters the meeting room, I get an SMS, and I go back to that. And we have a virtual meeting, the way we are talking. Can we create that? So technology integration, your ability to integrate technology. First is what you have to be aware of, what technological changes are happening around you. Then your ability to integrate technology to leverage as a wealth creator. That is an ability that you need to have, because a lot of technologies are coming. And very, very, technologies that excite me. I just came out of, I told you, session on startups. In fact, I almost told him कि भैया आजा तू मेरा partner बन जा, मैं तेरे को भी पैसा देता हूँ, तू शुरू कर. That's the kind of technology I got really attracted to, because those things are happening. And this machine learning, etc., this is an amazing field. 3D printing, fantastic. These things are going to be changing. So those of you who are looking for future, start looking at which are the technologies that are likely to change the way we live, and start, training yourself. Today, your ability to learn anything new is also going to decide your stress-free and happy living. I can make videos. I learned it 1 month ago. I'm a student and I'm looking for a good guru. So Neil is going to provide me how to make excellent videos, right? 3-minute videos, just about your company or something, which I can send to my customers or upload on my website, or, use them as a bait to, get customers and get more traffic to put them on YouTube, I don't know, this Sushant Singh Rajput ka jo hua hai, jo bhi hua, of course, is very, very unfortunate. But one thing that I'm realizing is that there are so many videos that have come up. All they give is a very catchy title, and then you have 10 million views. Wow. And when you start watching that video, it's all a bullshit, completely bullshit. So YouTube's business model is being abused. So, somebody comes and says, oh, they found the culprit. That's the title. They found evidence and the culprit has been nailed down. Okay, now you get into the video because you say, अरे यार, news में तो आया नहीं, यहाँ पे आ गया. और उसके तुम देखो 10-12 million views है. और तुम उसको देखते हो तो उसमें, this guy is speaking, who's a Bihari guy who can't even speak English. But he's created huge hits. So I'm sure, and then in between there are ads also. So the guy is making money. So all I'm saying is your ability to use the social media platforms is something that is going to be super critical. And yes, being a great team worker, building teams, okay, it's going to be very, very important. Inspiring teams, leading teams. And I remember, I'm sure you remember this term that I had actually given a presentation on was Antra leadership. So when you as a leader and entrepreneur are encouraging other people in your teams to become entrepreneurs like you and leaders like you, and then they go and multiply entrepreneurs and leaders like you. So this process multiplies. And if that is the basis or backbone of the organization, that organization is going to uh, do wonders. Okay. Of course, the kind of people who are there as part of the team, they all must be entrepreneurs. And they all must be also leaders. If they are not, they should be willing to be groomed as entrepreneurs. They should allow themselves to be molded into leadership positions, right? And if they are open, you can build a phenomenal organization, because then you bring in the, different employees, and then you come up with profit sharing, revenue sharing, all kind of, you design an organization which is continuously innovating and moving forward. But of course, it requires a huge, let's say, base for manufacturing, not trading. It requires the willingness of the promoters to accept that business model of profit sharing. So once the basic ingredients are there, the Antra leadership concept, if you see Apple, if you see Facebook, if you see Google, you see Antra leadership concept in operation. Google encourages you to fail. They create teams. You come up with a project. You come up with a product design idea. They will give you an investment. Your product becomes super successful. Great. If you fail, no problem. What are your learnings? So the organization has created a culture where failing is a process accepted in the journey to success. So, and you really see that that kind of environment is creating Antra leaders. It's not the top leader only. If you see how many patents, how many employees have filed, you will see in each industry, whether you take Apple, you take other, there are a lot of employees who have filed patents, and they have been innovators. They have also taken share in the marketability and the profits of their product. And that's very common in pharmaceutical industry also. And that's very common in chemical industry also, where employees file patents, and very common in Japan and very common in China. And if that becomes a commercial success, the organization shares the profits with these people, right? But what we are talking about is Antra leadership. Learn the art of Antra leadership. But for that, you have to be an entrepreneur and you have to be a leader. And then you have to train other people to think like you, right? And then create teams. Be an excellent team builder. Be an excellent team player, right? Individuals alone is going to become very stressful and very unhappy life they are going to lead in future. If they are not able to work as part of teams, if they're not able to work, working alone is something that is going to create stress always. So be a team builder. Learn from others' mistakes, because past mein, I know all the youngsters, like you, everybody used to say, this is my life and I'll learn from my mistakes. Great, you did. Why? Because the environment gave you choice. You had time. But next 10 years, I'll tell you, you will have no option but to succeed. The more you learn from other people's mistakes and avoid making mistakes of your own, the better it is going to be. Because the environment itself is now not going to give chance for a second run. Therefore, learning from other people's successes, learning from other people's mistakes, shadow the leader to learn leadership, shadow an entrepreneur to learn entrepreneurship. Great idea. 3 months spent with an entrepreneur. See how his life is. See how he's conceiving businesses. See how he's executing those ideas. See how he's building teams. See how he's leading people. See how he's resolving conflicts. When you shadow an entrepreneur or a leader or both in one, you learn so many things. Learn from other people, right? And of course, making partnerships work. This is also another key area because you will all have partners. It could be your personal partners in the family. It could be your professional partners at the workplace. And when I'm saying partners, you could actually be partner with money stakes as an entrepreneur, or you could be, let's say, part of a team where other people are also having the same goal as you of creating businesses, right? It's very important that you make these partnerships work. And there, what I say is a SERP principle. You know, your competencies, they have to be, it has to be in the collaborative mode. Okay, they have to be complementary. C is for competencies. E is for effort levels. The effort levels must match. Both partners should be putting in the same level of effort in making the relationship work, or if we are business partners, then making the business work. R is the resources. Everyone is bringing. Time is a resource. Money is a resource. Resources should match. And P is the personality types. So the personality types should match. Your values and ethics, that the cash and CV elements must match. Right? So if you're talking about entrepreneurship, even if you're talking about that alone kaam nahi karna, and that's not really going to be the best way, and you will need partners, then you will have to also learn the art of selecting the partners. And there these SERP, CERP ingredients are very important. If any of these don't match, the partnership is not going to work. If the competencies are not matching or complementary, if effort levels are not matching, if resources are not matching, if personality types are not matching, and you have chosen somebody as a partner, it's not going to work. Later or sooner, it's going to fall apart. Right? So learning the art of creating partnerships and making it work is going to be a very, very critical factor, because alone you can't do much. Right? Now, these are some of the things that I thought I would share with you all. We had 1 hour, right? Neil?
I have scheduled about an hour and a half. So yeah.
An hour and a half. Okay. So should we have more interaction? Let's say, I'd like to break and I can go on talking and I can.
So I think we can ask people to ask questions. I can also start with the first one, and then maybe we can ask people to raise their hands. So this.
Let's do that. See, before you start, Neil, I would love to also talk to people on any of issues or something, or their sharing. Let मेरे को भी सीखने दो यार तुम्हारे से.
I agree.
Okay? React to what I have said. Bring in some examples from your lives where we can apply some of these. Bring in some difficult situations to me, which force me to think also. Challenge me and educate me also. But my request to you, Neil, remains, I'm looking for my digital gurus. I want to transform myself.
Absolutely.
So you will provide me.
I will do that. If nothing else, I'll train myself and train you then.
No, अभी मैंने क्या बोला? I have no option to fail, so I want to go to the best.
No, you not fail. Assurances. So you mentioned that one is the ideapreneur, that people come up with a lot of idea, and you must have heard in your life that a lot of good ideas came through with a lot of people, but then they end up spending too much time deliberating on the ideas rather than executing it. So, and then obviously maybe the idea is late, somebody else has already executed the idea, because the idea does not wait for you, I believe. It passes on to someone else. So how does one break that, that mental barrier that they have, that, there's an idea, I'm not sure if I can go ahead and execute it?
Now, in fact, you remember our Bizoria that we created at Jamnalal Bajaj, and I think it was in the year 2011 or 12 that the first set of students that they came up with the business ideas. In fact, every business idea, we had to shortlist maybe I think 10 or 12 business ideas out of a total of about 100 or so that we received. And those 12 business ideas, and then of course the entire show was held based on those 12 business ideas. Now, I'll tell you one thing. None of those people actually came up with the actual execution. None of them, okay, in any of those. But all those ideas, I see that they are in operation and have reached very large scale. Large scale. Now, this is what I say, that you can dream with your eyes closed, but you need to dream with your eyes open. And if you really are passionate about the business idea, then that idea will not let you sleep. Until you have come to that level of excitement, you are only an ideapreneur. When your excitement reaches that level where रात का सोना जो है दूबर हो जाए, then you become an entrepreneur. And that excitement will come only and only one if that idea is resonating with your personality type, right? It's close to your heart, not just mind. Mind is seen, money is there, but that has to be close to your heart. You have to imagine that if that is the life, that because every idea impacts your lifestyle, right? I am right now working on an idea on ready to eat, bringing farm fresh food to kitchen table. Now, this was an idea we discussed in Bizora in 2011. Now, I have another startup which I just came to me, and I'm thinking of maybe co-investing if they work good, because at my age, I want to, groom people, and I want to use energy of the young people. I can invest in the idea, but I want the energy of the youngsters to really be channelized and directed in the right way to build companies. So if I find a very passionate person, I say, okay, Aja, let's put together everything and then see if it really resonates with you. You want to lead that lifestyle, you want to really execute it, and you want to live that life. I'm not here to build businesses to sell. I never do that. That's against my. I'm not going to create a part of a jigsaw puzzle and then somebody else has more parts and then we say, okay, I will sell this. That kind of business design, I am not for it. Some people do that, but what I'm saying is, to answer your question, if there is an idea and the corresponding lifestyle that idea brings resonates with you and you love that lifestyle. Abhi main teko mera example do. I always loved traveling internationally. And that lifestyle, my business of exports gave me. After that, it didn't matter. I was a mechanical engineer. मैं chemical export कर रहा हूँ. तो क्या हुआ? It took me hardly any time to learn about chemicals. Engineer is an engineer, right? You're trained to learn anything new. Today we talk about pharmaceuticals like pharmacists. I talk about pharmaceuticals to doctors, right? So your ability to learn anything, that I said, that I have also practiced in my life. Now, why ideapreneurs remain ideapreneurs is because the associated lifestyle doesn't go well with their heart. That's why I'm saying, पहले दिल से पूछो, करना क्या है? Whether this idea में, see, there are all kind of businesses are thriving, and within each space there are businesses that have failed. The businesses that have failed are not because businesses were bad, but because execution was bad and the people failed. Under every business failure is a people failure. And the people have failed because of cash CV element. Either knowledge was not right, attitude was not right, skills were not right, or habits were wrong, or character was bad, or value system was bad. So, अगर succeed करना है तो select an idea which is going to give you a lifestyle which is your dream lifestyle. Then likelihood you will select the right everything. That's one thing I practice. I tell people to, and that is have got greater chances of succeeding, unless people mess up in the other areas of. There are many other areas they mess up after starting the idea, but they regret invariably after failing.
All right. Anybody can please either unmute and ask. Or,
Good evening. Good evening, sir. Rajesh here.
Yes, Rajesh, how are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Why can't I see you?
Okay, so today's session was, the most productive session for me because while listening to your session, I was on bike. I helped my wife to buy vegetables, grocery, fruits, etc., and shopping also. Okay. Okay. So my one suggestion, it's not a question actually. You should start those daily blogs because last time I remember you had started that and you're just testing a pulse of a market. Okay. So and you in between, and I was one of those who asked you. So you should start that. That's it from my side. And
Right.
it's really transforming and uplifting session. So after listening to this, I do not have any question. Only there is action on our side. I'll say my side. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Rajesh. Actually, it is my next project in line, that is creating happypreneurs, and I want to send out just three-minute insights which I select from such rich content which is available on YouTube, which focuses on, I told you, 3 things needed for happiness: health, relationships, and professional success. So everything that is needed under these 3 headings. In fact, I've already created my website, my personal website. It's arunsehgal.com, and you can log in there, and there are a lot of blogs, etc. also there. But it's in the process of building. And my dream is, again, that I give this content on this website under these 3 headings, because this is where I would like to make a difference, that is creating happy entrepreneurs or happy entrepreneurs. And if they are not entrepreneurs, they will still be at least happy whatever they are. So, just select the content. And again, I need help on that. My problem is I have a full-fledged, full-time business to run. All these ideas take a back seat. Why? Because I am not able to get the right people to, I have created a content. In fact, I'm sure, Rajesh, you will have this whole selection of my videos that I had sent to you. Huh?
Yeah. Right.
कितने होंगे? 100 से ऊपर तो होंगे.
Definitely. Yeah. I have a collection of your messages.
I did run that experiment for a long time, and then it was on experimental basis, I must admit. And that activity I continue because, I don't know when I started this, about maybe 2-3 years ago, but morning, those 10 minutes I do spend with, learning from kuch bhi, or, there is serendipity now working. I am, let's say, looking at a difficult relationship to manage. Okay? Suddenly, next day, a video will come on how to manage a relationship. A difficult situation in a relationship. It's happening. Right? So, this is serendipity. And that's another concept that I want to share. And I must share with you that, when you are genuinely sending out a lot of vibrations to the universe helps you by training you, by feeding you with information, the right kind of information. In fact, there are so many times, Rajesh, I must admit that, when I am looking for some information and your forwards, your messages have come in, which I've used for teaching and which I've used for sharing. Rajesh has sent me some amazing messages also. We used to, of course, off late they have reduced. Rajesh, I don't know why, but keep sending.
Yeah. That's because of COVID, there are no news in between. But no, yeah, my suggestion that, sir, you should start it again. And as you said that you would like to post that content on your website. Okay, but the good point you
Did we lose Rajesh?
and Facebook page bio, you can put your website Facebook. Okay,
Right.
and in Instagram and Facebook page, put your website as a bio link.
Right.
My
Right.
suggestion.
But I want to tell you, of course, this is something that I want to do. But my real passion is in really tying up with the now entrepreneurs who want to start businesses, and that's where I genuinely want to invest with the entrepreneurs who are having any business ideas and passionate about doing, because I'm only looking at integrating my skills and let's say the investment with their energies. And if anybody is there interested in doing something, let me know. And that's where I want to spend maybe 90% of my time and effort and energies. So I see Jasmine also there. Hi. Anyone else with any other
Wants to share anything?
thing?
Please unmute and share, or speak with sir. Any query? We have a quieter crowd today. Sridhar, you have a question?
Sir, it's just a thought process. Like every time I've been seeing you or hearing you out, entrepreneurship is something which you are emphasizing on, and you love that. That is your passion, which I feel. But today it was great to hear that you are also talking about spirituality. You are talking about health. You are talking about work-life balance, and you also spoke that you want to write on happiness. So, just a personal thought: don't you think that being entrepreneurship or entrepreneur, and then you talk about happiness, then that materialistic goal will actually kill your happiness? Like, if we because you are so passionate, and when we hear you, then we feel that yeah, we need to be an entrepreneur or we need to be an entrepreneur. But maybe timing it or just being carried away kills your happiness, being that as a materialistic goal.
Yeah.
That
So
they don't go hand in hand is something which I feel like entrepreneurship is a journey. Like if you're so passionate, then you need to enjoy the journey rather than reaching that goal. Like that will be
Sir, I think
you have your you have given answer yourself. You have given answer yourself.
yeah.
You know, the thing is, what creates why materialistic goal, you know, creates unhappiness?
So a simple thing like so I was a part of Bizora and I had some ideas which I wanted to execute it, but I was not too clear. Like, should I be leaving my corporate life or no? So even in my company now, I've been coached to become a CEO. So there were few questions that they asked. Like, it is not easy to become a life of a CEO. It is not only the skill set; it is also the attitude and what you have in return to compromise. Like, you should be able to compromise. And they gave an example of Indra Nui also. Like, these are the things that she had compromised in her life to achieve that position. So, are you mentally ready for it?
Right.
Even before, yeah. So,
See, sacrifice. That's what I said. That, you know, in the past, sacrifice. People have sacrificed their personal lives to become whatever they became. But my question is, after you accomplish the goal of becoming a CEO, and in the process, you lost your, let's say, family life, your children are not relating to you the way they would, your wife has gone in for divorce, that accomplishment of the goal, is it creating happiness?
yeah, it is not so.
Maybe you have lost some health also. Right? So, the question that, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is that at every moment, your awareness, your consciousness of what you are doing and what you are sacrificing in order for the goal, you must pause and reflect.
Perfect. Yeah.
Right? Because there are things that money cannot buy. There are things that glory that you will get after becoming a CEO, you will not be able to get back in your life. And the human objective of our soul, we are visiting this planet to experience happiness.
Yes. Perfect, sir.
We are not here to make money. We are not here to become a CEO or managing director. अभी विजय मल्ल्या क्या बहुत पैसा है, पूरा ट्रस्ट में है. He is not lost much. But is he happy? Anil Ambani, happy? I have realized, and that's what I'm here to share. I have realized it's more important to be happy. Not a CEO or not rich or not, so you got to, वो कहते हैं ना, you have to bring in balance in your personality and really see that what gives you happiness. Are you losing? Are you ready to sacrifice those things which, whatever is your goal, you are not going to be able to buy? And as you rightly said, it is a journey. In fact, you ask my colleagues here, they are still here. We have never set goals. I'm one entrepreneur who has never set goals. We have always focused on the journey of our growth. What my colleagues and everyone, of course, I can do that because there's no public. One of the reasons we've not gone for public issues and all that also is that. When I'm part on so many boards, and today only I was talking to people and then I was saying that, why do we need money from public? And then you have so many compliance to do, so many things to do. And then you have to have targets कि मेरे को 20% पे grow करना ही है, मेरे को shareholders को भी grow करना ही है, मेरे को उनका जो बना के देना ही है. I want to enjoy my journey of entrepreneurship, so I've designed my life that way. We are enjoying whatever we enjoy doing, we pick up, we do it. We like a business, we do it. We don't like a business, we don't do it. We like a partner, we do business with him. Suddenly things change. He doesn't like the business, we don't like him. He doesn't like us. We say, okay, let's part ways. So there's nothing really driven by कि मेरे को 20% से grow करना ही है. Now that is a conscious decision I have taken myself. And that's why I've never talked to any of my partners, any of my colleagues कि मेरे को इतना growth तेरे को देना. You enjoying? Everybody's enjoying. Fine. कितना पैसा चाहिए यार लाइफ में? तो पैसा है भी तो तुम्हारे को कितना दो रोटी की जगह क्या 20 रोटी खा लोगे? Now that focus as an entrepreneur you can have, but once you are part of the corporate world, you will not be able to have that.
Okay, I get it, sir.
Okay, so you are now a CEO. Sorry, I did not get your name because what came on the screen was some MEFDP or something.
Sir, this is Shridhar actually using my corporate laptop. So
okay, Shridhar. Okay, so congratulations. But as a CEO, you are an entrepreneur. You won't achieve this position unless you were already recognized as a wealth creator. So I know that you are feeling the pressures and you will feel the pressures. And of course, it's not easy to just give up the corporate life to come out and start suddenly. Okay. But see, if you reach a comfort level financially, and if there is a possibility for you to also create a team around you, you let this team start doing the work till you are ready to switch the boat. There are ways around it. I did it myself like that. My wife was working. You know her. She's also teaching.
I was about to say that, sir, please share your beginning journey so that they get an idea.
My wife was working for Hindustan Petroleum. And it was a team building at home first. And I told her, I said, look, these 3 years you are going to give me and you are not going to expect anything from me in terms of running the household. So I'm going to do all kind of things that I think I should do in order to become an entrepreneur. And I was looking for opportunities. I did very, very, very unorthodox jobs after an MBA. I was a trade commissioner for Canadian government. Of course, I worked for Larsen Toubro first. And then I did something and that got me a lot of publicity. I made presentation to Rajiv Gandhi. That got me into the news. Then the Canadian High Commissioner came and he said, we need somebody to guide our Canadian industry to do business in India. So that was a very unorthodox kind of a job. I, of course, in those days had a Toyota and a driver. And that was, and my office was in Oberoi Towers Hotel, suite number 2401 on 24th floor, overlooking this Marine Drive. I mean, those were the attractions for which I took the job. Okay, but main reason I took that job of a different kind was because I wanted to make international connections. Why? Because I wanted to be in the export. So you see, early focus. Then when the beginning was with one of my colleagues from BITS Pilani. And he came up with a business idea. He said, okay, we will do this and some profit sharing and some model we worked out. And then I started working and started learning chemicals with him. He was a great guru. He taught me a lot of things. Thankful to him, thankful to my wife. My wife was holding the fort first 3 years. And then I started traveling. Then I started learning. Then I started traveling domestic. Then I started traveling international. Then a lot of international connections. And the day I was ready with this initial partner, that's when I came and I started my company. Because now I had customers with whom I had created the emotional connect. And those customers would support me. I had suppliers with whom I had created the emotional connect. Those suppliers would support me. So I was taking supplier credit and I was exporting. I didn't need money. लोग मेरे को 60 दिन उधारी देते थे, मैं 30 दिन में बेचता था, 30 दिन में पैसा आता था, उनको मैं टाइम पे पैसा देता था. मेरे को कोई कैपिटल की जरूरत नहीं. That's how I built capital. So, who was the critical person that allowed me to take that jump from a person who was in a job kind of situation, a CEO kind of a job, and then was my wife. She took the initial role, and whatever we built, she has equal credit for that. Because without those initial years, I would not be able to start as an entrepreneur. So these things you have to think and look and, So, Sridhar, are you married?
Yes,
Huh?
sir, I got married last year.
Okay. Can you do what I did?
Yeah, I am able to relate it. So,
Okay, now plan for it. Next 1 year,
sir,
2 years to plan for it.
with
As I
your
said, actually,
summary, yeah, I actually have to give an answer in next 15 days to my coach. So with your summary, I am understanding that if the designation or tag is too difficult a task for me, for which I cannot do a sacrifice, then I should be compromising myself. Like if I'm growing and it is making me happy and I'm able to make a difference in someone's life, then I should be really happy.
Yeah. It's a Harvard study. What gives us happiness actually is relationships, not money. Most unhappy people are people who have no relationships in place.
Yeah,
Therefore, if you're thinking of sacrificing relationships, that's a beginning of a disaster. Right? So, an entrepreneurship, one thing I'll tell you, it helps you design the lifestyle. Like I gave you example. Right?
Yes.
If I am an entrepreneur, I am doing business and we have God's grace, enough abundance. All my partners, myself, our employees are having a great life because I've never put anybody under pressure. Never. In fact, now that I see some of my colleagues here, I remember इनको मैंने ये काम दिया था, इन्होंने मेरे पास वापस नहीं आए. Now I'm going to talk to them. But the fact is, COVID times, these times, people are already dealing with a lot of pressures, of course. But even otherwise, you're right, Neil, when you said, before this person whoever spoke, that it's a journey. And if you stop enjoying the journey and you're only focused on the target, that is the goal, and if you accomplish that goal, that becomes your basic purpose for, existence. And if you don't achieve that goal or don't achieve it on time, you are going to be miserable.
Okay. Point noted, sir.
Right? So,
good
to see you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Good to see you, Sridhar. Right? So, stay connected even after today, and you are an entrepreneur material. See that you are able to, create the teams that you need, create some partners, and then as partners you grow. What you do, let your partners also do, right? And एक चीज तो होने वाली है अभी आगे जाके, चाहे आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस आए या जो भी आए, रोबोटिक्स आए, कुछ भी आए, there are going to be so many different areas coming up for techies like you, where if you really care, there will be so many opportunities for smaller organizations. Say 3-4 people put together, they're just working on blockchains. Great idea. Some on fintech. There are a lot of fintech companies that, or some people who are supporting fintech as a group of 4 or 5 people. So instead of people employing people, they are outsourcing a lot of jobs. So see where you can create a niche, and then you can have maybe 4 or 5 customer base who are big, who can maybe give you 4 times the income that you are making with all the stress as a CEO. Great way to go ahead. Okay.
Perfect.
Right.
Good to hear your
Just
voice.
check if anybody else has any question. Then they can raise their hand or unmute, please.
Any experience you want to share, any insight you have to give. Maybe anything we studied in the class which you kind of related very well later on after passing out.
Sir, I just wanted to share one experience. Maybe Neil will be happy because he always pushes me what is happening digitally, and you push me what is happening digitally. So I also manage Amazon as an account. So that's the biggest retail account. And in a part of my organization, we are trying to change consumer behavior. Like where in our industry, when they used to mostly shop in brick and mortar, touch and feel, now we are forcing them to buy online. So value creation. Okay. So the most important thing is we actually used we know Amazon as a good stockist where they invest a lot. But after COVID, as you say, sir, you always say the business life cycles change really fast. They adapt really fast. Something new comes in. So we were learning of that process, and suddenly there's a new process after COVID that they are trying to mitigate risk, and they are really not having humans now to predict how much stock do they want. They're really depending on the technology. Now, for example, how much that particular stock has been sold, and if a consumer has come and the stock was not there, then what should be your next 45 days of inventory? So many factors are coming in, like how many times did it go out of stock? Now, for example, if it is selling at X price, if the price goes at X minus 20, how much target market do we have, and what rate is it growing? So as you always say, it is the man behind the machine who makes you win the war. So all the transformation are coming, but you really need smart people to understand it, and he should be really agile in adapting those needs and a good listener in what is happening. So this is something which I have learned in last 2 or 3 months.
Right.
The dynamics are changing every day.
Right. And what you are saying, Sridhar, this must have actually cost a lot of people, their jobs, because, once these kind of trend prediction and, forecast is happening based on the machine learning, and, it's obviously going to take away some jobs, isn't it?
Sir, like if I talk specific to Amazon, then they are also creating jobs, like as the consumers are now buying online. So small jobs.
I'm sure. But obviously this kind of work which has been now done by the computers was earlier being done by the, let's focus on only this job. Amazon is creating and will create other jobs in other spheres. But ये वाली jobs तो machine learning के कारण some people must have lost, right?
There are a few, sir, but
Yes.
as I said, it is a two-way sword. It actually creates opportunities because when they are adapting new businesses, उनको पता नहीं होता है कि उस business का core dynamics क्या है, how does it function, which a person who's experienced since 20 years, he would know that this is how it is. Like if he is not stocking, somebody else would. But yes, there are 20% people who are not so strong, agile, deep pockets. They would just close their businesses. That is what it could happen. So this
Just
just
to
wanted
add,
to
what,
yeah,
sorry, just
Rajesh
to add
also can
what,
add
Sri,
some for
yeah,
example.
so just to add what Sridhar said, see, Amazon is not a purely retailer. Okay, so Amazon is having their own technology house also. So that's nothing but a AWS, Amazon Web Services. Okay, so when we
Right.
say web services, it's not the pure cloud computing, but if you look at the AWS's portfolio, there are 300 plus services, and the majority of services are not limited to only pure computing, but that talks about artificial intelligence, then analytics, then IoT kind of service. So what Amazon is doing, they are using in-house technology to modernize their e-retail business. Okay, so for example, if you look at their fulfillment center, now earlier in fulfillment center, there used to be a human being who used to do a job of all packing, right? But what they are doing now, they are bringing a practice of human robotics to their fulfillment center. So what happening now? Because of that, those human jobs are going now. Because when we say that we are going to deliver next day or maybe in couple of days, so definitely you have to speed up that operation. Okay, so in fulfillment center, they have bought robotics. That's number one, and second, they are using in-house technology. That's analytics part, and that is powered by their with the huge data they already had. And what they are doing now, during this particular period, what is happening? See, earlier who used to be a leader in advertising business? It was Google, right? So what Google do basically? Google will sell the your data to advertisers. Now, what is your data? Your data is nothing but whatever you browse online. Okay, but whatever you browse online, that is not accurate data. That cannot predict that if Sridhar is on say so Amazon website, or sorry, any Sony's website. So it is not necessary that Sridhar will end up buying Sony home theater. He might be doing a research. But if you look at Amazon, okay, the kind of relationship they have with the customer, then Amazon is having a good insight that they know that what this customer bought. So they are having a granular information about the preferences of that customer, and they are using that information, or say that knowledge, that data point, to kill the business advertising business of Google. So they have started eating a market share of Google in US, and that trend is coming to India. Now you'll see Amazon is also selling the advertisement on their website.
No, so why is
So
that
I think that's
happening?
what
Because Google is known for its services and Amazon is the most preferred search engine for products.
right. See,
And so
I'll
Rajesh sir,
reiterate the point.
yeah,
I'll reiterate the point. See, because when you're selling the advertisement, okay, you're selling the data of user in anonymous format, right? So that is not a completely accurate data. But in case of Amazon, which is into retail, so retail is the one of the tap point, where you can get a maximum and the accurate information about the consumer preference, and that's what getting valued, and that's where you can use it for the advertisement. So now Amazon, sir, I forgot to send you one update now. See, Amazon is trying to go everywhere now. You must have seen that. Now Amazon has submitted a proposal to build a constellation of website, that is low Earth orbit satellite, around the Earth, and that is to provide the internet service. Okay, as well as to provide a backhaul services to 4G and 5G operator. So earlier he killed the retail business. Now he's coming into telecommunication also, and his proposal has been finalized by FCC in US. So Trump hasn't taken any objection.
Rajesh, I am actually, in fact, I just want to share with everyone, Rajesh has also taken one class with me at JBIMS. And we talked about all these things there. He presented the case study on Amazon itself, I think, if I remember correctly. Neil, this is a great, as I said that, we all have to keep ourselves updated continuously. And I
actually,
really like,
if you,
I really like this initiative. We should have regular, and I see some of you wanting that we do regularly. Of course, me giving insights on a daily basis
so
is
what I
going to
was
be a very
proposing
tall
is,
order.
if you agree, we can have a boot camp once a month on a date when you are available, and we can have
Yes.
these discussion,
No.
detailed dive discussion. So we can have like a every Saturday, Sunday, whichever you're available, once a month, and we can do a boot
No,
camp.
I love it. I love it because, I learn from Sridhar, I learn from Rajesh, I learn from you. There's so many people who've not spoken. I'm sure they have some
Actually,
domain
there's a
knowledge.
question waiting from Jasmine. You want me to ask her to unmute?
Yeah, please.
Jasmine, if you can unmute and ask your question, please.
And I want to see
Sure.
you, Jack. Let's see how you look now. Okay. Yeah,
Hello, sir.
I
I had a question which is slightly different. At the start of the session, sir, you mentioned that during this lockdown time, especially, we are spending a lot of time in front of, gadgets, our laptops, and TV for that matter. So one of the things that I've observed and I'm personally experiencing is that because we're working from home, we constantly, are barged with so many calls, even after our 6:30, 7 o'clock. And there's a constant anxiety, even if like you sit to meditate for half an hour, at the back of your mind, there is this worry that, okay, there must be so many missed calls or messages to do your work. And for that matter, even on Saturday, Sundays. So how do you think, we can deal with this better? Like, should we like learn to say no, or anything that you can share?
before I, one of the things that as a personality type, Jasmine, I know and I feel proud of the fact is that you take your job very seriously. Okay, which is a very, very fantastic trait of an employee. I'm sure you're because if that's what is your anxiety level, how many calls you missed, then I think you need to reprogram your thought process because see, again, there is some time you need to have, which is your time.
Right.
First, define those hours, and they could be flexible. You could be flexible. Disciplining your sleep is something that is first of all to be done. Eating light in the night is something that helps you sleep very well. Okay, so I said there's certain habits that you need to inculcate. Now, if you're given commitment to your organization, and I want to know, is it on 24-hour call basis you are going to be available?
No, but there are certain days where you're required to send
That's fine.
emails.
But look for days, okay, that where you can have at least 1 hour of just your time within the four walls. And those days, decide that you are going to spend feeding your mental health, good food, right? And half an hour also, 10 minutes regularly will be more effective than half an hour once in 3 days. I would say even 5 minutes regularly. Now you can't tell me that you can't get 5 minutes.
No, of course.
But after you wake up and before you sleep. Now, those of you who attended my classes, I have always shared that the power of subconscious mind, because your mind is also computer. 90% of it is subconscious, and what people are in their real lives is not because of the 10% of the conscious mind, which is what you and me see, but it's because of 90% of the subconscious mind that actually drives the programs on the hard disk. So that 90% of the mind doesn't sleep when you are sleeping. But when you are meditating, that 90% of the mind gets rested. And once it is a rested subconscious mind, you become so much more productive. You become so much more creative. In fact, I tell my entrepreneurs, learn to meditate. And that, yes, you have to dissociate. In the beginning, you'll have these thoughts coming in regularly. Even later they come in. Don't resist the thought. Watch some videos. Now there are apps on meditative mind, etc. Listen to just plain and simple some music that puts you off to sleep. There are times I sleep with just Om music right through the night. I'm sharing with you some of the secrets. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Om Namah Shivaya will be just going on and I'm sleeping. There and on YouTube there are fantastic. There are a lot of music, etc. But and there's music for meditation. The nature sounds. If you have a good music system, use it. Because I tell you, the sounds that you hear, they energize you. So those inputs are very important. Music therapy is fantastic. It is, if you believe in it, it will do wonders. So 5 minutes सुबह उठने के बाद, एक तो उठना के बाद at least 2 minutes, 3 minutes, just roll in your bed. Right? These small things you do. And don't think about work. Don't touch your phone. Just enjoy your bed for 2-3 minutes, roll. And then take your time, get up, put your feet on the ground, right? You go to the Mother Earth, spend 1 minute that expressing your gratitude to the Mother Earth for allowing you to step on Earth. Express your gratitude to everyone, your mother, your teachers, your everyone you think of in the morning. First thing when you put your feet on the ground. And then 5 minutes, just concentrate on your nostrils and breath. Okay? And then in between some thought will come. Let it come. Don't resist it. Yeah? You will struggle for a long time. But even if you're struggling, even if you're doing this for 5 minutes and thoughts are coming, etc., no problem. After that, spend 10 minutes just planning your day. Just plan your day. Kya karna. Organize it. If you want to make notes, make notes. Just 10 minutes doing that. After that, 3-minute inspirational video or audio. Okay, on whatever. Choose any one subject, either under health or relationships or profession. Okay, now whatever is your need for the profession, right? You want to learn something. You want to learn how to sell effectively. So TEDx, YouTube, look for which are the most popular videos with millions of views. Chote wale videos hain. You can, I give you example of Isha and Gaur Gopal Das and all of that. You know, sometimes you are facing challenges in the personal life. They help you give a different perspective. All right. So 5 minutes, 2-3 minutes rolling in the bed. 5 minutes, just 10 minutes. ये 20 मिनट तुम्हारे हैं. इसके ऊपर किसी का अधिकार नहीं है. And these 20 minutes, nobody is going to disturb you. Just spend in here. And if you have privacy for yourself in the room, great. If you don't have privacy, then tell people not to disturb you for those initial 20 minutes. After that, come out, do your jobs, start your day, gradually get into the routine. Before sleeping, if you can read a book, even if it is for 5 minutes, some very highly motivational book, 10 minutes, great, half an hour, better. Sleep with very positive thoughts in your mind. Or a 5-minute good inspirational video again. Do this habit for 21 days. All of you are listening to me. And after 21 days, I'll ask you, about your productivity and about your happiness index. But do build in that health cover. Right now, Corona times, 1 घंटा कुछ भी करो, शायद म्यूजिक लगा के डांस करो. Today I danced. 45 minutes I was just dancing with music. And I was sweating. Some days I do bicycle. Some days I do stretching or something, you know. It gets monotonous. But I make sure I actually spend 700 kilocalories minimum. Either I'll put on the Apple Watch and I'll find, I'll calculate. वो नहीं करना. Why? Because some bad habits I still have. You know, once in a while I do need whiskey. Not once in a while, I can take. So, अब वो सब करना है तो फिर then you have to, you know, it shouldn't happen that I'm not able to come out of the door after COVID. So that I have to keep watch. All that I design for. Okay, I enjoy that because I enjoy my life. You know, things that give me happiness, I do. Right, but then I have to plan for it also. Yeah. So ये वाला जो है ना दिनचर्या ऐसा बनाओ. Then you will see that this anxiety that you're talking about will reduce. No one's going to die without you. No one. No one's going to care if you are not happy. Remember that. Therefore, those 20 minutes and this 1 hour of exercise, this is your time. No one has any. And then find out that time slot when you will do it. Okay? और फोन पास में रखो ना, जब भी तुम कुछ कर रहे हो समझो यू आर डूइंग एक्सरसाइज 1 आवर, क्योंकि वो करना 1 आवर, हाफ एन आवर भी कर सकते हो, सुबह हाफ एन आवर, शाम को हाफ एन आवर, राइट. ब्लूटूथ लगा के रखो, कोई आया तो एक्सरसाइज करते हुए. इनफैक्ट यू नो people know you are working from home and therefore this is your time. You are also taking care of your health. You inspire the other listener. क्या कर रहे हो? अरे आई एम एक्सरसाइजिंग. तू बोल, काम चालू है मेरा, तू बोल. No problem. Let it be your boss. What are you doing? I'm doing exercise and keeping myself fit. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
On.
So we'll do the quick 5 questions that I asked you.
Oh my God, you have a Karan Johar style. What is that? Rapid fire?
Rapid fire questions.
Oh
the only cheating is I shared with you earlier. You don't remember, that's a different thing.
I don't remember. I might come up with different answers.
Okay. All right. So one thing you did unique during the lockdown, which your family will say.
I think I said that this digital transformation thing. And of course, now after I replied to that question, there's one more new thing I have done, which is getting qualified as an independent director. So I've passed an exam of company law, which just happened 2 days ago. And I'm now a qualified independent director to be, you know, going on listed companies. So already the requests have started coming.
So one book you will recommend to read. I know I've shared the list. I'll share it with them on YouTube also. But one book you recommend?
A lot of books. In fact, if I was to show you on video the number of books that I have, my house is actually full of more books than you know, sitting sofas and chairs. So I think the one I have already talked about, which was Eric Butterworth, the Spiritual Economics. But going forward, you know, some of these books and videos I'll recommend by Harari. You know, he's an Israeli writer. And I think that's part of my list. So share with them actually all of those books. They are fantastic. And there's a lot of YouTube content available on these books. Those of you who don't have that much time to read a big book, go to YouTube. And there are some audiobooks also available. You can download them. And, you know, Amazon also has on Kindle. No, what is that? Tinder. What is it?
Kindle.
Kindle. You know, I keep getting confused with all these.
Audible, sir. Sir, Amazon has Audible. They have Audible, so that's a good source for a book.
Audible. Okay.
Audible,
Audible is
yeah.
the audiobook and
For
Kindle is
listening.
the reading.
Audiobook. Yes.
Reading.
Yeah. Yeah. So all this Kindle, Tinder, all this, I keep getting confused, you know, because of these teenage boys I have around me. So, but all those books that I've given you, they are very, very latest. Okay. And of course, there are some of those books, How to Make Friends and How to Win Friends and blah, blah, by Dale Carnegie, etc. Some basic books. And Magic of Thinking Big, etc. You know, those are some very, very traditionally good, lot of good books there. But what resonates with you, what you want to do on a particular day, these days Google is your best partner. You can see so much content on YouTube and this thing, you know, do that. What else?
So, as a mentor, what advice do you give or would like to give?
As
I
a
have the
mentor
answers.
to... No, I can give you a different answer today. The best advice is focus on health, relationships, and be an entrepreneur.
Okay, which is consistent. So
Different answer today.
you told me one brand that surprised you during this lockdown is your own company. So the question remains is why?
Yeah, because, you know, I didn't expect that we would do as well as we did. We've been doing. And current phase is pretty good. And credit goes to all my employees who have been working from home and all my partners, you know, that they have all surprised me. Of course, one of the things that I do tell people is that if you share on activities and not the results, you will get what you want. So activities during COVID times, I think we have pretty much designed and discussed, and a lot of Zoom meetings and, you know, basic strategy, etc., that we changed and we worked out. So I'm in a very happy slot. In fact, when this lockdown was being lifted, we decided that we are not going to lift the lockdown. Maybe we can continue doing like this forever. You know, we've discovered a new way, and my staff is enjoying working from home. We are all working from home, and I don't think, see, this corona thing is not going away anyway. For immediately. So we are, Google announced that they are going to, Rajesh, work from home for until next summer or something, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, for them it doesn't matter. Yes.
So we are also going to do that. For us also it doesn't matter, even though we are a actual products company. And
Yeah, it depends on industry to industry. It depends on industry to industry, because, you know, during this period, during COVID, where other industries, you know, were in loss. So if you look at the recent result declared by Google or say Amazon, so they have done made a profit. Why? Because they're into a technology business, and their technology was, you know, useful during the COVID, where there wasn't possible a human to human, face to face contact. Okay, so that's where they have done made a money.
I will say that it's true for all services industry. All services industries, by and large, you know, they could evolve to digital transformation and work from home a little easier than, let's say, the production companies, etc. So even the factories are now back to almost normal. It depends on what you are making. So
But actually,
again,
pharma and chemical have done superior during this time, and FMCG.
yeah, maybe I'm lucky. I'm lucky. I know I'm in that space, so it's
Because the COVID
you're right.
requires.
Yeah. It depends on what industry you are in. I was talking to people who have retail business and all that. Marge Bechare, and you know, a Future Group is being taken over by Reliance, and you see those kind of things also happening. He's not able to make payments to his employees. Such a big company. So anyway, that's for sure happening, right? Future Group being taken over by Reliance.
I think they're in advanced stage.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, sir. In fact, Jeff Bezos was in talk with Future Group. Okay. So the Mukesh Ambani, you know, then now he's looking at that Future Group now for that. And Amazon is also in talk with Mukesh Ambani to buy a stake in RIL.
I am thinking of writing an article on the future between Amazon and Reliance in India. You can give me some inputs and maybe you can write with me as a co-author. It'll be great.
Okay.
Rajesh.
I'll give you input on that. Sure.
Okay. Let's write together.
Yep.
Let's see where we can publish. I don't know where we'll publish, but let's write an article.
All right, sir. I'll take the last question. Is your routine that you have been following during this lockdown is what you already stressed on. And so one question that somebody has popped me, two actually things people have popped me and said, one, can we be part of the 26-member group? Which you have, the secret community. And the second question is, if you were not an entrepreneur, then what would you have been?
I would be a doctor. That was my dream as a childhood, in my childhood. Actually, I couldn't do medical. Why? Because my father was to retire after 3 years of my engineering. So, मेरे को जल्दी थी पैसा कमाने की और independent बनने की. So 5 years engineering after higher secondary. In my days it was 11 plus 5. So that was the only reason I took engineering. Otherwise, I would have been a doctor maybe, because that was really close to my heart. And yeah, but no regrets.
Hence pharma.
दवाइयाँ तो बुला ही रहे.
All right, sir. I promise we can do this session once a month. Maybe I can take your time and we'll do a boot camp and have a casual conversation on different aspects. Maybe the Reliance thing also we can do a deep dive.
Right.
So any closing words, sir? We have done about 2 hours into the session right now. So.
The closing words are this: that just I miss you guys. We had such nice connections when you all were on campus. And I want to see you really successful in life and happy more than, because the myth is that successful people are happy. The fact is, happy people only succeed. So focus on happiness. Success will be a byproduct.
I think so. Your word resonate is happiness cannot be pursued; it must be ensued. It should come through. So yeah, I think I resonate with it. So thank you so much for agreeing to do this.